Welcome to the Oeb Electronics Bonaire ASP Dashboard. The ASP Dashboard is a graphical summary of ASP indicators for which a graphical representation could help making analysis. These are parts penetration, supply penetration, MIF, service metrics KPI, and e-training, which will be included in the next report. Between Q2 and Q3, our part penetration percentage grew in almost 18%. This was due to two factors. We implemented a process for preemptive ordering of parts, and we conducted a first revision of the MIF, detecting inactive equipment and taking them out of the calculations. There are two strategies that we would like to pursue in the near future, which will also affect the parts penetration figure. These strategies are conducting a MIF census and increasing the preemptive maintenance. In the area of supplies penetration, Oeb Electronics Bonaire achieved a 5.5% increase between Q2 and Q3. One of the reasons for this is the phase 1 of our MIF revision, which consisted in checking client by client and contrasting their equipment against their supply purchases. Within the next 6 months, we will conduct a MIF census, which will make the penetration figure more accurate. When taking a detailed look of our 20 best sellers, it is clear that our main drivers are a handful of models. In color, our stars are the 7578 families, the 6505, the 6605, and 6010, while in mono the best sellers are 3220, 3550, and 3635. By analyzing this table, we can also try and plan model substitution, like pushing 6027 to replace 6015 and 3225 to replace 3220. After the first revision of the MIF, we have a more accurate view of it. In this graphic, you can see our proportions for color versus mono, A3 versus A4, and owned versus leased. On the PDS-CS graphic, we can appreciate the level and nature of our customer satisfaction. Most of our customers express satisfaction of 5 or 6 on a scale of 1 to 6. The only odd results were in the machine condition question of the survey. This seemed to indicate that even though the customers are happy with their machines, they are happier about the service and the brand. On this graphic, we can identify the changes between Q2 and Q3 in each category of client satisfaction. As an average, both Q2 and Q3 have the same result, 5.5 out of 6. We need to investigate what happened on the categories ease of communication and operator courtesy, which are the two areas where we see a more significant decrease on satisfaction. In this table, we find our service metrics or key performance indicators. As a whole, our service metrics show improvement in response time, solution time, and call duration. The RCA and sales lead also show an increase. Our call data system allows us to compare performance among our CSEs and recognize them accordingly. In order to protect their anonymity, we have used the letters A, B, and C to identify our 3 CSEs. CSE A was the best in reducing his call duration from Q2 to Q3. CSE C was the one that took the most calls, but also the one with more repeated calls, which is to be expected. He also had the biggest increase in repeated calls from Q2 to Q3. CSE B did the best on RCA, sales leads, and PSCS. Thanks for your attention.